Zoo. Welcome to The Industry is Doom. I'm Mikki.
I'm Blake Hunsley.
And we are going to, unfortunately, have to talk about the goddamn royal wedding.
You know what? We're going to take a refreshing talk on it, though, for a second. In that there wasn't as much as I was afraid there was going to be. Like, there was some nonsense.
There was some nonsense. Obviously, it's not, the William and Kate, plus Empire of Late. But, yeah, I'm very proud of that. But it's, it was kind of toned down.
It was
the
muted.
Americans were kind of...
Here, the Americans were bananas.
But even, like, by American standards, they were, like, relatively quiet.
I don't know.
I think that they're having a hard time with Trump, and so, like, they're willing to throw a party to distract, but their exhaustion's starting to show.
Oh, well, it wasn't really America's turn to throw a party anyway. Like, no. But I just think their media was a little more focused than... I guess they're usually into the royal weddings, aren't they?
They
pretend to be all, like, separate, but yeah.
What was it on?
They're super into it.
I can't remember if it was CBS or ABC had a 4-hour recap version throughout an evening, like after the royal wedding, and it's like we cut back to the bits of the royal wedding, and then we cut to context, and their loving meeting, and the family, and then we cut to the royal wedding, and we don't mention the father, and
I got like 4 minutes in the car, and that was the most I could handle.
Yeah.
Of CBC One, and two things occurred. They talked to just some woman, and she felt like they were members of her own family, and just I can't with that. I can't with that at all, especially with no discernible like British accent. No, you're here in Canada, and you feel that close to can't at all. And the second thing was that apparently. The Queen wore a lime green dress, and apparently that sent quite a message. And what a way to send a message! And that message presumably was that the Queen likes lime green. But just that was the amount of gushing nonsense that I could take.
I believe that the message is I am the fucking Queen. I am old. I have been at this for decades. I do not give two shits what you think. I do not give two shits about what my father thought.
But the nice thing is that fewer and fewer people give a shit about what monarchs think as well. Like this,
which is clearly reflected in her chilling out too.
That's the nice part.
Yeah.
And as much as I find myself chagrined that we're talking about this, it's kind of fun to.
But they've changed. They've gone from the truth is that aside from the fact that they still cost state money, they have gone from being a monarchy to being a celebrity. And that's anarchism wins again. Sorry, because they've been reduced to just celebrity. They sell magazines. They get tabloid shows something to talk about. They get the CBC something to fixate on when there's not an Olympics.
Stephen Fry had a good point about this. He was being interviewed on The Seed, and he was talking about the monarchy and how he's kind of like a surprising, pro-monarchy guy. And his thing was...
a lot of surprisingly terrible things.
Yes, but his thing, still in a heartbeat, I would. Yeah. Damn his existing husband. I digress. But no, his whole point was that if Trump had to march up to the essential Capitol Hill of American kind of monarchy style thing and present himself and bow before someone who outranked him, that would probably have quite the impact on Trump. And the thing that I think about that is, no, he would just find a way to not do it.
Yeah, he would do this kind of bullshit bow and then do a half apology after, or he'd force a handshake.
Yeah. And the big thing for me is, beyond that, okay, let's accept the basic premise of Stephen Fry's argument, because I do enjoy doing that, and it makes me feel like a bit of a schoolgirl, so I can't resist much of his arguments anyway. But that applies to England. That doesn't apply to fucking Canada.
Yeah, no.
No, and don't tell me anything about the Governor General, because most of the time, nobody even knows who the Governor General is.
The Governor General is, I believe, just the highest artistic award we give in this country.
Yeah, basically.
Artistic or humanitarian, that's really what the Governor General should be. If we have a great general who does something incredible, they can be the Governor General. But astronauts, they can be the Governor General.
They can be astronauts. What can't they be?
Yeah, it's true. astronauts can apparently do whatever the hell they
See, that
want.
part is, you know what, I'm down with having an astronaut
Yeah.
governor general, but still, like, Julie Payette, is that her name?
Yeah.
See?
Julie Payette.
Like, had to stop and question it. Like, seriously, and I actually pay attention to this shit occasionally. Still had to stop and question, because it just doesn't fucking matter. It's not the leader, it's not even the figurehead anymore. No one pays enough attention to that.
Yeah, you exist so that they can say that no one is technically in charge like
Exactly.
that.
So then we still get...
It's the great Canadian way of doing things. If we simply ignore the problem and keep living, everything is okay.
This is the main argument I hear against getting rid of the monarchy, is people are like, well, it doesn't hurt anything to keep it. I'm like, that's not a reason to keep something.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I think it just sets a... I'm not going to go into why I'm a small R Republican, like a very staunch one. I have a multitude of reasons I can just drone on about.
Yeah.
But I don't get that argument, though. Like, it's not hurting anything, so... It's like, why rock the boat? It's like, why not rock the fucking boat? We can do something better.
Yeah.
That should be enough of a reason. We could have, a head of state that exists in this country from time to time, and don't give me any royal torn nonsense.
No.
They're going to send Harry and Meghan, and she's going to do a guest spot on whatever that morning show is that replaced Canada AM. Jesus.
Oh god, this reminds me. I saw the Queen once, from like 200 yards away. I could see her hat.
Listen. I have been much closer to the Queen's hat. I've been within probably about 50 feet of the Queen.
Yeah.
As have most Canadians. This is the thing, is as much as I rail against the institution, the Queen herself, like, most of us have either met or been close to the Queen at some point or another. Like, she's doing pretty good in that respect. I would argue a solid percent, like
absolutely no, a large
I wonder
amount.
if it's like half.
I'd say it's something that is you know someone or know someone who knows someone. Like, you're only ever 2 Canadians away from the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really interesting thing. Like, my dad did security detail in the 80s for both the Pope, the one that eventually got shot, but not during that detail, and the Queen. And so, like, I think he was within, I don't know, I might be wrong about this, 15 feet, 10 feet, something like that. So it's just like, it's like, by detail,
if you
it's
were
kind
more
of like
forward, man,
lined
you could have
up.
attempted to hug the Queen at that point.
Jesus, could you imagine the
Oh, majesty.
clusterfuck?
See, this is the thing, though. It's like, the argument I do get is people who are like, well, how could you say that when the Queen's still living, blah, which is apparently how monarchists in Canada talk in my head. Because no one gives a shit about it. Apathy is the worst argument. Okay. Anyway, but back to this whole, like, can't do it while the Queen's alive. That I'm actually okay with. I'm like, for better or for worse, she has existed in this role long enough that I just am, at worst, ambivalent towards her. At worst. That's saying quite a thing, considering how I feel about the institution she represents. Let her finish it out, and then just, like, that's great, and now we're done.
I think it's a far more powerful end to monarchy for it not to be violently cut off, which may give it reason to come back, but for it to just simply die. Its evolutionary track died.
Yes.
Sorry, the branch is gone.
Just a respectful acknowledgement that the time for honoring people because of the family they were born into is over.
Yeah.
We only do that for celebrities now.
Yeah.
Not celebrities born with titles, just regular celebrities.
Celebrities and their children.
That's how egalitarian we are.
Yeah. 10,000 BC to 2018 plus whatever many years she has left, and then the age of the celebrity, in which it's essentially kind of an anarchy of ideas, in which anyone can be the most popular thing ever. Yeah, other people have more resources, but their kids can fucking suck. You might be the next thing. You probably won't be, but you might be.
It's not going to matter anymore if you were born in a castle.
Yeah.
It only matters if you were born in Cinderella's castle. You just have
Are
to be
you fucking
a product of the industry, one way or another.
Do you get access to things that other people may not? Do you get chances?
This is horrifying. This is where egalitarianism goes from where we are now. I guess we're that bad off right now.
Yeah. There's a movie's being produced based on a book that I can't remember the name of, but essentially it's about how we're pretty close, if we choose to creating techno-communism, in which machines do everything, and everyone is able to have enough resources to live and entertain themselves, and that is all of it. If you want to invent something, do something. You want to make something, make something. But you don't have to. And you can have that level.
You're talking about like guaranteed basic income, but like
universal.
extra amenities. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
And
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love the Star Trek universe, but it's still perfect. I'm fine with it.
And I can completely see how some people would be like, but we'd lose so much profit because people would not work for us. And it's like, yeah, obviously it would shift into machines being the main thing. But
exactly. And I think there'd be a super huge renaissance in small business because people would just be able to take the risk.
Exactly. But people would go nuts because they wouldn't have like authority over something that responds to it anymore.
Those people should have been years ago. No, can't say that.
They should have gotten Cromwell too.
Man, that's the worst kind of impulse to have to keep around. Where can we keep that? There must be a use for it.
Yes, space colonization. If you want to be truly evil.
You want to send authoritarian jerks into space?
Do you want to rule a universe or be taken over by the aliens?
Oh my god.
No, it's the actual answer.
This is together
explore it out.
Together we've arrived at the fact that the more plausible future than Star Trek for humanity is clearly Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean that's the terrifying reality. Socialism on Earth, fascism to everywhere else that isn't human. It's kind of that weird, terrifying way that shit usually works out, and it'll be some kind of weird post colonialism for a while, and some places will be better than others, and some places will not be able to get involved, so they'll become proxy wars. It's the same way as colonialism has always worked. At home, you try to do better because those people actually have authority over you in some form, and outside, you're a fucking jerk.
This has been our coverage of the royal weddings.
Yeah!
I'm fine with rolling right on to America this week. I am. Everywhere else has been a bag of nonsense. But that says a lot. Goddamn. Are you growing numb to America?
Yeah.
I'm really growing numb to America. It's weird.
I've realized the other day that I mixed up the last 3 school shootings in my head into one school shooting, and so it's just that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
We need to start. You know what? All right. Fuck it. We're already going international in the segment 1, which is supposed to be the local segment. It's the royal wedding. It matters so much to us.
That's the thing. All the locals were talking about the royal wedding, so nothing actually happened.
Is anything happening internationally? Trump normally drowns everything out. Now that we're growing numb.
Ooh, it's connected to Trump, but it is.
Of course it is.
So he ordered the U.S. Mint to make a coin commemorating it, and so this coin now exists commemorating a meeting that has not actually been scheduled with a date on it, as this grand summit, and on this coin, which shows
the North Korea summit, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and on it's Trump and Kim Jong whatever, and there are 2 flags in the background, and they're both profile immortalized, looking like great men. And on one side it says President Trump, President Donald J. Trump. On the other side it's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un.
On an American coin.
On an American coin, Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un.
I have never actually gobsmacked by things.
Yeah, Tom Clancy is spinning in his grave. Assassins that the CIA sent after Fidel Castro are spinning in their graves with who knows where the fuck they are.
Oh my god, if the Republicans weren't all undead, apparent, emotionless zombies, completely bereft of any life force or judgment, now they'll live forever in their zombie forms, presumably, so they can't spin in their graves, but Christ, I'm surprised they're not twirling towards victory.
I must assume that no one has told John McCain, based on the fact that I'm pretty sure that would kill him. That would finally actually be the thing that kills him.
Did that whole thing happen the last time we did a show?
No.
I didn't think so. I love that that's what got Republicans riled up about Trump's White House. They're like, oh my God, they insulted John McCain. It's like, oh my God, they've been rounding up people all over the country, breaking up families, and ruling that mothers shouldn't be kept with children because that sounds human. It's just nonsense, utter constant.
John McCain is like so complicated because yes, he is an American war hero. Yes, he went through some horrible stuff. Yes, when he was first elected, he was a relatively progressive Republican. But he's also a train wreck of a human being who allowed this to happen. He created his own legacy of horror.
He has, and he's still going to get a lot more credit somehow for standing up to Trump. Because actions apparently may speak louder than words, but not when the actions are somehow on mute.
Yeah.
Like nobody seems to read about the actions anymore. Maybe that's it. Maybe American journalists have just gotten so lazy that instead of like showing, not telling, they just simply all they can do is tell. They're just like, oh, he said this.
Well, that's the terrible brilliance of Trump is, if you just keep saying stuff, well, we have to report on what he said. It's like, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's a bad thing that newspaper sales in the States are going back up.
Kind of, yeah, because it just keeps driving forward this perpetual conversation instead of allowing it to be like, no, you're a traitor, here's how you're a traitor, and we're not going to let up on this one point that you're a traitor.
Somebody, I really wish I could remember what I was watching this on. This may have been Stephen Fry as well. They were talking about how Hitler was called the most photographed man on Earth. And now they're like, Trump is the most talked about man on Earth. You can't go anywhere in any country without hearing about Trump. It's everything he's ever wanted. And it might destroy us all or just destroy him. It's hard to say.
Well, I just know that from information that comes out every now and then, like it's declassified from Canadian military, every couple of decades we re-up on a plan on how to withhold an invasion. And I bet that's being re-upped.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It should be. I can't imagine how we would.
It essentially means taking the entire population and driving ourselves into the north, letting them have all of the cities, and resistance fighting until our allies in NATO, aside from America, get their shit together. And probably China, because they are a massive trading partner and they probably would not take losing that much profit.
Interestingly enough,
especially if you can offer up the corpse of America after.
Interestingly enough, China is, I would argue, nowhere near as vilified as Russia in Canadian media, like anywhere close.
We're quite close with China as trade partners.
I know we are economically, yes.
Yeah.
But that's why it doesn't surprise me. But because I'm sorry, but you can't tell me China's not up to everything twice 1,000 times.
Hong Kong was the most
brilliant
accident in diplomatic relations for the Chinese ever. We accepted Hong Kong because it was part of the British Empire, and so we have a favorability towards Hong Kong. And I don't have anything against Hong Kong. I love it. This is purely just like historical perspective. Because it was allowed into the British Empire and had all those economic and cultural ties, when it was absorbed and became under the control of China in many aspects, not fully, but come on, they've got their hands in there pretty damn well. It is theirs now. We rolled over the contracts without much speculation or consideration. And so we are now very close with a nation that otherwise, and historically speaking, we would not be. We would be very much standing against. And it profits both us culturally and economically, but it profits them a lot more because it gives them this anchor into a NATO and NORAD state which like it would be like how to think of it. It's like if no, there is no way a good way to say it. Like,
No.
There's nothing else like that exists in history.
I don't have any problem with it.
Oh no, I don't have any problem with it.
And I know there's like all kinds of things to be said about China. I'm well aware of that.
I think Canada's history or future is tied probably closer to China than America's.
And a lot of people will squawk about that pretty hard, and I'm not going to say there's not tons of room for improvement in China.
Yeah.
There is a bit of judge, not less you be self-judgy. But I'm aware that China commits some serious fucking atrocities. But also, I'm aware that what happens if we don't trade with China?
Yeah.
So don't engage with them. Oh, punish them with the almighty power of, I don't know, Canada, what? It'll just destabilize us both. Like,
yeah, we rely heavily on it. Like,
try to be a better country ourselves, lead by example occasionally. Be like, can you please stop harvesting organs from your prisoners? That would be nice.
if you could just stop doing these
If
kinds
you
of
could just
things.
stop constantly censoring the internet and enforcing horrifying control over your populace.
Yeah.
It still beats not saying that because you have no relationship with them.
Oh, exactly. It's the Iran line. You know, it's better to be in disagreement with someone and still be able to than to just be like, no, fuck this. I'm packing up the embassy. We're not doing it anymore. It's like, no, then you're leaving people to die. Fuck you.
I guarantee you I've supported the strident option any number of times politically, and it's just never... It's a learning experience every time, at least.
Oh, I know. But there's that it's a microcosm of itself. To suggest the strident option always ends up in a fight to be strident, which is itself the strident option.
I've gone too far. That's it. I don't have anything to say about America.
Fuck you, America.
Like, yeah, honest to God, just
Dude, you're so ridiculous and exciting that you are now boring.
Maybe it's because, and I realize this will draw it on a second, but maybe it's because there's been all this coverage about how it's the 1-year anniversary of the Mueller investigation.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, alright, yeah, it's still going on. They're like,
Been
in
a
year
year.
2, I'm like, oh my god, like, season 1 had no payoff. Like, yes, we're the worst people in the world. You know why? Because we're modern day people. Like, yes.
Yeah, we get it. But we're also the most self-aware people. So while we get it, and yes, we're horrible, we also want this. God damn it.
We are awful, but we have a sense of irony about it.
Yes. It's a
It's gotta count for something.
we modern humans in the West are only striving for further novelty, and that is, I think, it can be a noble pursuit. Sometimes. I mean, it's led to Elon Musk, and he's only horrible 60% of the time. That 40% is really
That
productive.
seems high.
He doesn't allow his workers to unionize.
That's like a solid 55%.
He also believes that the
60.
world is a simulation, and that's why he doesn't directly help people. He just makes stuff, and he's like the fountainhead.
Oh, does that balance out?
Now I
I
don't
think
think
he
he's
does.
into Ayn Rand, but he acts like the fountainhead.
I think there's a sense of balance there. I think he offsets that enough. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
All I'll say is at least Tony Stark has the awareness to do something cool like the Iron Man. He just keeps blowing rockets up.
You do not know for an absolute fact that Elon Musk is not a modern day real life Iron Man. You think the police would let reporters in on that? They'd be like, no, nothing to see here. Yes,
He had a
crime
fucking
around the
press
world is
conference
down.
in the
It's
movie.
impressive, isn't it? Yes. I'm talking real life Iron Man, not silly.
I'm
movie
talking
Iron Man.
Elon Musk. He
That's
has
what
enough
I'm
money
talking
to do whatever he wants. Like, go to space.
I'm not supposed to. Isn't there like a superhero bro code? You're not supposed to reveal their identity, or I guess you have to be a superhero too. Oh, did I just out us both?
That is a super complicated nerd issue that I can get into and explain decades worth of stuff in.
On our pop culture podcast, something about being quiet, I believe.
Yes, please, won't you shut up?
I will. But we should talk about segment 3.
What are we talking
this is the thing. This is the awful part. Is it's okay. We need to explain what's going on here with the energy level when it comes to talking about local media this week. First of all, obviously we're exhausted by being focused on the royal wedding because we just care so much now.
Royal wedding.
It's warm in Halifax.
Yeah.
And
It's
therefore, all
It's-
life has ground to an immediate halt.
It's warm early, so everything must just not.
There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And I remember those times, and they're the worst.
Yeah.
You really have to go hunt for stories, and you really do end up with. Fortunately, where we never did human interest shit, or very rarely. Oh, yeah, we did, but it was monarch-related human interest shit, so I am loath to talk about it.
Yeah.
Very rare human interest shit.
Very rare.
So you'd run like shit from the past, and like you just delve into people who were interesting ages ago. Like, Halifax turns out some bullshit in the summer.
Oh my god, yeah. It's always, here's an article that is in archive, so we randomly picked this one. We randomly picked about 20 different archive articles, and we've tried to contact the people in it, and this is the one person who responded. So here's a follow-up interview.
Not to mention that a lot of people, even in the media, take holidays in the summer.
Oh yeah.
And that's always fun when it means, hey, create 2 issues of the thing you're working on right before you go on vacation.
Yeah, so
in the
you're
season
working-
where nothing's happening, and you live in the middle of cottage country, so like, honest to God, a frighteningly high proportion of people in this town are gone anyway.
Yeah, so you better have had something already ready to go, or you better have a line to a celebrity, or something like that, or like just go cover an event, or you have a really, really drawn out opinion.
Honest to God, if a tourist doesn't steal the cruise ship, you can be fucked. Yeah. Or you can pull a Brett Ruskin so you can delve into a boring number story.
Yes, you can go over the top. You can jump that shark.
No, I love this. It was
It
great.
was brilliant, but it was just like
It was
it's a
about
Hail
mud.
Mary.
It was about mud. It
It's
was about
insane.
storing carbon in mud. It was great, and
And-
he had the numbers. It was great. It was such a dry. It doesn't even matter what this was about, but it was blue carbon storage. I think.
Yeah.
It was about
blue carbon storage.
the carbon storing
Using
capacity of marshes versus forests. Apparently, marshes can store carbon much more efficiently in muck.
Yeah.
And this is particularly viable around the Bay of Fundy and potential millions, as with every potentially future profitable thing that we'll get from the otherwise just highest tides in the world that give us no money.
The Bay of Fundy has a lot of potential money in it.
So much potential money.
So I keep lots of
Boundless
potential money.
So you knew it was going to play well.
Yeah.
Because any Nova Scotia audience in particular will look
Ooh,
at
Bay of
a
Fundy.
potential Bay of Fundy
Ooh.
article,
Ooh.
money article, and just be, ooh, I will read that.
And
And
forget
that's
the
how you
last
hook them
time,
into
last
reading
week.
a numbers story that's actually about like dry
Oh my
potential
God.
science. And loved it. You so rarely get the chance to write like a just boring perspective numbers story in winter, because in the winter everyone in Canada has to stay warm, so we're inside talking to each other, getting
That's
our
when drama
temperature.
happens.
And that is when drama happens. Summertime, no.
Oh,
All
well,
the locals are in the garden
yeah.
or away,
There's no
and
hockey.
everyone else is a tourist, and they don't have any perspective on what's going on anyway. They think Nova Scotia is an island.
Oh, it's
They
so quaint.
occasionally think they're looking at Europe by looking across the harbor.
Oh, it's so quaint.
Yeah, everything is quaint, but there's nothing to offer for the local media. There's not, and any local reporter who tries to like
No.
pan for gold and that, oh no.
Oh yeah. You pan for gold. You the minute something catches on fire, you cover shit out of that for
Mhm.
at least 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You go to tourist traps on days that are hot and get people to go, it's hot.
That's no, fuck that.
It's hot.
I know. I hate that noise more than anything.
Or after it's been hot for a while and it rains, go somewhere where there's not going to be people and talk to someone who was expecting there to be people, but then it rained and now there's no business to do.
There's always the ultimate thing. Talk to children because they're out of school and they have
Mm-hmm.
fascinating perspectives on all kinds of nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing that needs to
nothing.
be caught on
Not
camera and
God
presented during a news or
damn
magazine show.
Thing.
Nothing at all. No.
Is there a fair in town? Oh, god damn. Let's
Back
do
to
a
you,
location.
anchor, who will pretend that was cute. That was cute.
I'm happy I don't have to be there.
No one's watching because they're all kind of just.
No, it's true. It's on in the background, so you kind of like process it through your brain somewhat, but you know that, like, if you think about it for one moment, you know that they're all sitting there in like shorts under the desk because it's so fucking sweltering even in the studio under those lights, and they have to wear the fake suits up top, which are super light and sometimes don't have backs to them. Depending on the anchor.
Oh man, backless Steve Murphy.
Backless, no pants.
Amazing.
Sitting there.
That's like.
With his feet in a bucket of water.
That's just a dream in a really weird way. I don't even think I can face this right now.
He's just splashing around.
Oh man. No. This is the funny part though, is like we have more time to sit around and consume media here in the summer. Like I would argue less televised. Just I think more people are outside because it's not that large of a chunk of the year we can do that. But you end up sitting around reading much more. So there's a broader audience naturally if you're in print media. But that's the worst part, is because people will actually sit and read something long and a numbers piece about carbon storage and muck presumably or something to that effect.
Yeah.
People will actually sit and read that, but like you've
that's
gotta
either
rack your brain for something you can convince an editor is gonna get anyone to read it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Or you have to go and commit egregious sins by interviewing tourists and children and covering. Oh god, like people are getting married on every corner. Every 5 minutes, someone's getting wedding photos taken in the park, and anyone who tries to call himself a reporter of any kind who presents that in any format just makes me.
I firmly believe that the vast majority of articles written or read at any cottage are about cottaging or cottage-based life.
Saltscapes.
Yeah.
Saltscapes, that's all it is.
If you just write about kayaking, you're set for... Actually, fuck. I just figured out what I'm going to do as a career. I'm just going to write about kayaking and sell stories about kayaking. Here's this guy kayaking. Here's nice nature photos of him kayaking by nice nature stuff. How long you been kayaking, guy? 20 years. You must have some kayaking stories.
I'm fucking horrified. Not that you're selling yourself out in such a horrid way, but I didn't think of this. I love kayaking. I'm going to hashtag everything about this kayak. I can't. I'm not. Oh no.
Kayaking.
Oh no, I can't hashtag it. But somehow I will. I will find a way. Hashtag find a way with kayaks. Find a way with kayaks.
Find a way with kayaks.
That seems like a really good
kind
of way to wrap up our personal coverage, local scene shit. We could go into, like, I was thinking of some of the different things I've covered in the summer that were completely nonsensical, and you know what? They were stupid to present once. I don't want to present them again.
I only ever did, like, celebrity interviews in the summer.
No, mine are too specific. They don't fall under any weird umbrella that I can give it that. I would actually have to talk about them. Let's not go back and find any numbers from number stories. I couldn't even remember poor Brent Ruskin's numbers about mud, and I heard that today.
Sorry, Brent.
There's nothing worth reading.
Oh my god, we finished in half an hour. Goodbye!